Okay, today's project is a coolant leak in this '01 Audi S4 Avant. And so it's leaking coolant. Seems like overnight there's a big puddle of coolant on the ground. And the coolant's expensive, so topping it off every couple of days isn't working. So let's figure out what's going on with it. Okay, and if you're familiar at all with these cars, you know that there is no room to work anywhere under here. As far as, I mean, there's coolant hoses going everywhere, and you just don't have access to any of them. There's the tank, it's empty. I've looked around, I pressurized the whole system when it was cold, and I see a couple of drops coming off of the alternator at the very bottom of the motor. I have no idea where it's coming from. And so what I'm going to have to do is we're going to have to remove the front end of this car. We'll get the whole nose of it off, expose the whole front of the engine, and then we'll be able to get a good look at radiator hoses. It could be a water pump. Not really sure, but to get access to anything, the front of this car has got to come off. So that's what we're going to do. Or I'm going to do. You can watch. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to remove these headlights. And they're in by 3 screws. 1, 2, and then there's another screw straight down. That's not it, but there's another Phillips screw down there. So 3 screws, and this housing should come out. Okay, these are a T30 Torx bit. 1, 2, there we go. That's definitely not original. Come on. There we go. I've got a couple of covers here. We've got this cover and this cover. Comes off. This is on 2 T25 bits. And then this should lift off. There we go. Now I want to remove these covers. There's a couple of tabs in here, so when it goes in, the tabs go in and you push, so we're going to pull out and then slide it out. Just be gentle. Try not to break anything. I got a little plastic pry bar. And it just pulls. There we go. I mean, I know this stuff's plastic, but it's pretty durable. And this thing is, 20 years old and it's still not broken. Get this weather seal and get this thing out of the way. Okay, now that we got the covers off of the bumper, we're going to come underneath and we're going to take 2 screws out, 2 bolts, one there. And another one right there. We're going to take those 2 out. But before we take those 2 out, we're going to unclip the sides of the bumper here. Alright, to get the end of this bumper off, there is another Torx bit, a screw in here with a Torx bit on it. I loosened it. Take it off. Alright, so maybe before we unhook the sides, the corners of this thing, let's take these long Allen wrenches out. one. There's two. They're long, they look like this. There we go. Alright, you'll see what they look like when I get it off. You gotta fight with it sometimes. It's pretty durable, didn't break anything. We'll go over to the other side and try it. This thing is free to come out now. Set it down on something because we've got some washer hoses to disconnect. As well as the fog lights. Jeez, they're tricky. And the last thing is the washer, headlight washers, which these are empty, so I'm not going to spill out anywhere. So both ends, the two bolts on the bottom, disconnect the fog lights and disconnect the washers, and this thing comes off. Alright, so here's what I'm looking at the corner of this bumper that I was tugging on and yanking on and fighting with a little bit. We've got a couple of tabs, one here, little hooks, and another one here, little hook. And then on the bumper itself, we have a hook here, and another hook under here. And it's pretty strong plastic, so you got to kind of pry it and tug on it quite a bit. Installing it's easy, you just snap it in place, and it has little ramps and it snaps into place easy, but that's what you're trying to get at the corner of this bumper. Alright, I'll get these things out of the way. Alright, the next thing I want to take off, I think, start getting stuff out of the way. I'm going to drop this out of the way. This is tie wrapped on. This I think is just a cooling pipe for the power steering, I believe. Okay, so there's that. And the next thing I want to take the fan off, which is again a T25. That gently hang down. Alright, I want to get this condenser out of the way, so let me get this bracket off. 10 mil. Alright, I think this AC condenser can come out now. Just be careful. Yeah, let me take off this shroud here again. I'm going to disconnect the harness from this pressure switch, I think is what that is. And now this should come off. Pressurized, so be careful. Okay, next thing I want to do is remove the radiator. And so to do that, I want to disconnect the upper and lower hoses. And so we see that clip. I'm going to take a flat bladed screwdriver, pop that clip up and out, and then I can remove the upper radiator hose. And the lower radiator hose has the exact same clip. We get underneath there. I don't know if I get the camera under there, but it's the same thing. Just snap the clip off and then gently work the hose off. And this is where it gets kind of messy. So, I'm going to get under there now and disconnect the lower radiator hose. And look out for the mess. But I got to get a bucket or something under here because coolant's going to start flowing. Alright, that's not too bad. I've seen worse. I bet if I loosen this cap, there we go. Looks like it's making it into the bucket. Pretty clear it's mostly water because he's been topping it off lately. Alright, got the same clip up here on the top. Well, there it is. Okay, I think I can get a couple of caps that hold this radiator in. Be gentle, don't want to break them. Come out pretty easy. There's just a tab, you push on it and then you pry it up gently. There you go. And I think this radiator will come out now. This is an automatic transmission, so I think the automatic transmission hard line is fed into the top here. Okay, so this car's got an automatic transmission. And so there's the hard line from the transmission into the radiator. There's got to be another pipe that comes out of it as well. Let's see if I can find that. So I think to get better access of these automatic transmission lines, I want to move this carrier, disconnect it, slide it out, give me some room, see if I can get in there and disconnect it. So I've got 2 bolts here, I've got 1 bolt here, we got these 3 here, and there's 4 over here. Okay, so T30 Torx. We've got two fasteners up here on the support. And we got this one. Whoops, look out. And we got this one right here. And the same on the other side. Top two of them. And one on the side. Okay, these fasteners are T45. Okay, before I remove all of those bolts, I'm going to take these long bolts that came out from the bumper underneath, and I'm going to screw them in here. They will fit, and then the carrier can hang on these bolts instead of falling right down. One, thread this through this one here. Okay, so now when I remove this last bolt, the whole thing won't just fall down, it'll hang on these longer bolts. See that? Now I think I can slide this thing out and give me a little bit more room. Nope, all kinds of stuff falling. Okay, now I have better access behind here. Let me show you what that looks like. Okay, now I got a little more room in here. And here is the pipe for the for the automatic transmission. And there's another one down below that I have better access to. And once we get this carrier out of the way, then we'll have total access to the whole front of the motor. And hopefully we can see some leaking radiator hoses or something. Okay, here's the transmission cooler hose. And I'm going to remove that bolt, disconnect that hose and cap it, and hopefully not lose any transmission fluid, but that's the plan. Have pretty good access now that the whole carrier's moved. Let me go gently with this thing here. Hopefully it just breaks loose easily, which it does. And let me see if I can find a couple of plugs or caps to cap it once I get it off. Alright, so I got a little assortment of caps. I'm going to be gentle here. Because I don't want to be buying a new radiator. And I don't want to lose a lot of radiator or transmission fluid either. I'm going to give it a little shot of silicone spray. If it is in fact a rubber seal, it might help slide it out. Come on now. Well, it's just coolant. All right. It's out. There's a rubber O-ring in there. Let me find a cap that fits this thing. Nothing has come out of it, which is good. Alright, so I got a cap on that. And let me cap that so no debris gets in there. So I can find something that'll fit in there. There we go. So I got a cap in here, keep debris out and oil in. And a cap on this end, debris out and oil in. So that's cool. Okay, here's the lower hose connection. 10 mil. And I'm going to give this a shot of silicone spray as well. Seemed to help last time. Okay, this one's at the bottom of the radiator, so I got to be quick with my caps, because I would imagine transmission fluid might seep out of this one more so than the upper one, just based on gravity. I'm going to want to pry against the plastic radiator. It's plastic. If I break this standoff, then I'm in trouble. It's just water from the radiator. It doesn't come out easy, and I don't want to force it. I think if it pops out, I can plug the hose with my thumb and then just tip the radiator down to stop it from draining. Getting there. Oh, there it is. Okay. Alright, the next thing I want to remove is the hood latch cable. That's pretty easy. And we want to disconnect these harnesses as well. These go to like the cooling fans. The harnesses are all wrapped up in that carrier. It was already broken. So the only thing left holding this carrier from coming off is this upper automatic transmission fluid hard line is secured in one spot. We need to get that disconnected and then this whole front will come off. Okay, this hard line is attached with a 10 mil. And I'm sure the whole thing is spinning, so I'm going to have to hold the nut on the other end of it somehow. Maybe a pair of vice grips or something. Oh, look out. Holy moly. Was this coming off? Yep, it is. Awesome. The nut on the other side must be tack welded in there or something. Yay. That's exactly what it was. Crisis averted. Okay. This is it now. This thing should come off. There's just a sensor on the bottom of this radiator hose. That I'm sure is going to fight me. Nope. Done. Alright, now this thing should come off. Alright, this is what we're looking at now. So the whole front of the engine, and here's how you would do a timing belt and the water pump, which, you know, kind of makes sense to do that while I'm here. So we'll decide, but looks like that alternator has had some coolant leaking around it. But I'm going to take a closer look and let you know if I find anything. Okay, I think I'm going to end the video here. I have to talk to my son, see what he wants to do. It might be a good idea to do a timing belt and water pump while we're at this point, looking for a leak in the water pump is just above the alternator, which looks like it took the brunt of this leak. So I'm suspicious of perhaps the water pump, and if you're in there that far, you might as well do the timing belt as well. But we're going to stop the video here. If we do a timing belt and water pump, we'll pick up with part 2, and we'll bring that to you as well. So I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you like. And until next time, thanks for watching.